Wake up, Adam, they are getting close.
Why do they need nukes in Poland? That is the big question right now. Poland wants to host NATO nukes to counter Russia. This has happened like a step-by-step, every single current event that has happened. It's like this is a predictable movie, kind of like the person running up the stairs instead of out the front door when the killer is behind them. It says that the Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki says that his country wants to join NATO's nuclear weapons sharing program, and this is in direct response to Russia's deployment of some of its own nuclear weapons to neighboring Belarus. One question before we even go a little bit further is why do they think that, again, why does this change things? Either way, Russia's right there and they have nuclear weapons. Why would it being on the other side even make a difference? If they really wanted to launch nukes and if they supposedly have hypersonics, then they're still within crazy range. That's the thing I don't get about this as far as the location they are and how close they are anyways. It says this also comes as Poland is pushing ahead with a massive conventional rearmament effort that they accelerated in the wake of the all-out Russian invasion of UKR last year. Prime Minister Morawiecki made his remarks about Poland's desire to become NATO's nuclear weapons sharing arrangements in response to a question at a press conference on the sidelines of a European Union in Brussels, Belgium earlier today. It says, quote, "The final decision will depend on our American and NATO partners. We declare our will to act quickly in this matter," Morawiecki said, according to the Polstat News. "We do not want to sit idly by while Russian President Vladimir Putin escalates all sorts of threats." So, again, it seems to me like this is going to happen. It's kind of like if UKR asks for, if they ask for tanks, they get tanks. If they ask for anti-air, they get anti-air. If they ask for, jets, they get jets. It's all playing out like they want it to. And the military industrial complex is going to go nuts. They're going to make a ton of money. We'll talk about this and much, much more tonight on Marfoogle TV. We'll be right back right after this. Nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you. If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down, you can prevent that by having a VPN. Nord is, again, one of the easiest. Download it. It's like an on switch and off switch. All you have to do. Go to marfugglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone that goes through any of our affiliates. Can't say thank you enough.
Everything they give is stolen. Even food like they are frozen. Everybody keeps on going. Why do they need nukes in Poland? Everything they give is stolen. Even food like they are frozen. Everybody keeps on going. Why do they need nukes in Poland?
All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam A.K. Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Today, we have a lot to go over, so remember, if you go over to our website, you can find every single article, tweet, video, picture, document. There's a full bibliography with all of our sources, so if you question something we are doing here, make sure to go over there and check for our source first. Again, make sure to also sign up for our notifications. Those notifications are very important. They're becoming more important. The less and less that you are getting our notifications from the platforms, the more and more that you should be getting ours. It's a very simple web-based notification. It's just like every other website that says, would you like notifications? We don't just send out junk. We, again, just send you out the show link. Essentially, right when we go live, that's going to notify you. And then also, if we ever do send another email again, Again, that will be used for that as well. If we send you an email, say, hey, we sent you an email. We don't use it daily. We don't use it weekly. We've barely used it. Let's bring in my co/internet brother, Dex James. What is going on and how are you doing today?
Hello, Adam, and hello, Fugel fam. I'm doing just fine.
So just a quick roll call. Where are you from? Let everybody in chat know. Again, represent. Thank you, everybody. Thank you from the Fugel fam. It's a very tight-knit group. If this is your first show, this is going to be a live show. We're going to talk about a lot of different current events, and then we're, of course, going to go over some of your opinions on this and some of ours. So first of all, going back to the Poland thing here, it's like every step of the way they have added more and more to this. NATO is adding all over, of course, Europe, and it's like the painting shows that they're preparing for World War III, but many people do not believe that World War III is going to happen. They think it's all a show. I do think it's a show, but I think it's a show where we are actually going to be involved in this play. What do you think, Dex?
Well, one of the questions you were asking, and I think it's a good question, is why do they need them there when they've got them in other locations? The only thing I can come up with about why Poland is so important is proximity. And when you think about how the NATO nukes are used, they are the B-61 series, which are airdropped. They're not launched. They don't have propulsion. They're dropped. They're stored in facilities. They're not on the planes. They have to be used on what's called a DCA, or a dual capable aircraft, meaning that the aircraft has normal operations with conventional capabilities, but in the time of a NATO event, it would then be loaded up, manually loaded up with these, and then launched. The plane would launch, fly, and then drop. So I think the thought process here is that maybe if they were closer, it would be better. The current countries that, and of course this is all secret, but at least from the information that's been sort of leaked over time, and the federation that looks at this stuff for where the nukes are, et cetera, they're currently in Belgium, Germany, Italy, and Netherlands, and Turkey. But here's the interesting one. Turkey has said while they host the weapons, they have long reported that it's no longer active. It's not something that they're willing to do. So they just sit there. So that's and of course we know a lot about Turkey. We've talked a lot about them. But anyway, nonetheless, I think maybe it's just getting that proximity so that launching from the edge of the border there in Poland would get them closer to Belarus quickly, since there's, potential launches coming from Belarus.
Now, as far as the quote here, the final decision will depend on our American NATO partners. We declare our will to act quickly in this matter. So it's like they're saying that it's a hurry kind of thing. Is that a hurry kind of thing because they know something we don't, or is the hurry kind of thing because they just want to get it done? And of course, this is all part of the agenda. But again, there could be the slight chance that they are doing it quickly because something is happening right now. We don't know the real truth, but again, you can weigh in on it down below in the comments down below. By the way, thank you, Shannon Keeler, for joining the fam. Thank you for getting a badge over on YouTube. And then thank you, Badger Worthy, for being here. Nickel Wise, we have Dragonfire is in the house. And again, I love that I actually can see chat now. But for a couple days there, I had to go through a whole rigmarole to see the chat. Thank you, Edward Martin, for being here. And it looks like Philly is here. Philly, we've got Colorado, we've got New York, we have Houston, Texas, Kansas City, Missouri, Louisiana in the house with the K Jungle, and then Kim Canadian from Nova Scotia, Canada. Welcome. Hello from Northeast Washington State. Celtic Warrior, I forgot you were a local. Thank you so much. Gettysburg says Rethink Inc. Hey, that's awesome. The largest cedar forest on Earth is where D.W. David's Way is from. And then Joe Anya, Texas Republic. That's awesome. Hey, thank you guys. Lots of folks from Texas, Hudson Valley, Carmine Petrarca, and then Emerald is good. Frisco, Texas, y'all. So find your other locals. Again, it's a very good thing to have a lot of people that have, that think like-minded around you. So again, then I hope that people end up finding their crew, not only online, but in real life at some point. All right. And then guerrilla warfare exercise in West Virginia looks heavily influenced by UKR conflict. So we talked about this on our short video over on news. If you do want a shorter version of some of the most important stuff here, make sure to also go share that out with friends and family. Here's the thing. In depth, as far as, all of these different drills, all the way back to Jade and the Helm 15, that drill was very, very ominous. Now, this is under Ridge Runner, which Ridge Runner is an annual exercise. What we see often is that these exercises always say it's always an annual one. It's always a regular one. The thing that the military can do with regular exercises, especially all of the ones that are then, of course, scheduled, is they can turn them into whatever they want, and then they have the excuse that, oh, this is routine. You'll see this on almost every drill that this is just routine, this is what we do. But when you actually look at the contents of the drill, that's where it actually changes. That's where you end up seeing that this is a very different drill. They are adding a whole lot of the kind of implementations that they're doing right now in Ukraine, and they're doing that in West Virginia. They're entering buildings, they're doing all of that, but they are also doing drone work, and they are also doing scouting work like they are doing currently in UKR. See, UKR, the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, is a little bit different because it's always going to be different. Every conflict that we have is going to be different from the last because of the advances in technology, the advances in weaponry, the advances in experimental weaponry. So when you see that they are doing all of these experiments with all of this new stuff, it seems like they're practicing for something completely different this year. I actually, after the show we did over on news, I actually looked, and we covered Ridge Runner last year, and it was totally different. So I'm just wondering, what all of this is about. The kind of scary undertone to any of these is if they are doing urban exercises, there's always the thought in the back of our heads, are they ever going to practice about, some sort of invasion here in the U.S.? It's a taboo topic. People here do not even want to talk about an invasion here. They think it's impossible. I mean, do they not? Do you not? There might be some here that think it's impossible. We've been led to think that we are geographically safe here in the U.S. Now, I know that Europeans, you guys don't worry about that. You worry about that because you are not geographically safe. But a lot of Americans in the U.S. here think that we are geographically safe, which we were. We had kind of a protection around us for a long time because of the distance from the sea, from our adversaries, or just in general, the layout of the land. It would be a very, very hard place to take. Not only that, most of the citizens, or a huge chunk of them, have weapons. This isn't just, a flop over and kind of, if you tried to invade the U.S., it would not be an easy task. Not to mention we have one of the best militaries in the world. The best by many standards, again. But again, that is being caught up to. Dex, this just seems a little bit different as far as the West Virginia one, because they made it look out like scenes out of Ukraine.
Yeah, they certainly did. And I think if you scroll down a little bit, there's a picture, about 4 pictures down, you can see a mock-up of what looks like an S-300 or S-400, and then compared to the real picture, go past that one and go to the next one that's just like it. Keep going. And there's one that has the real deal driving down the streets of probably, somewhere in Russia. Yeah, that one versus the one below, you can see is the real deal. So you can really tell that they're trying to mock up the simulation using equipment that they would expect to see in what's happening right now in UKR and in Europe. So it's not just that, it's who participated. It's not just a US event. They brought in people. So they had Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, UK, the NATO members, right? And then you have, and with the UK, it was the SAS. So they brought in the British Special Forces. They were there. Czech Republic, Germany, Finland, Moldova, which we've talked a lot about, and then even Georgia being the country south of Russia. So, a lot of participants here that obviously make this clear that they're talking about UKR and what are they and they're training for, not talking, training for a European event.
And if you look at the real one, they even did the stripes on the side. They did them as red. If you look down below, the actual pipes have the brown and yellow there with the star in the middle. They even did this on this mock-up one. This is a fake one. What I want to know is, where did they find, paper towel rolls that big? That is giant. That is, those are insanely big. So they did this fake mock-up of the S-400s, it looks like, and they're doing these kind of building exercises where they bust into buildings and then set up encampments and defend against people that are coming in. Is this to train Lithuania, Poland, and all of these other NATO countries on how to defend themselves in their countries? Or, again, is there something slightly more nefarious to what they think is going to happen? So let me know in the comments down below. Thank you, Barbie Burns Fat. Thank you so much for becoming a member. And then Tim Young, thank you for subscribing. As always, if you subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. Thank you for every person that ends up watching us or sharing us out. We're independent. We're on our own here. So it's very much appreciated if you share us out. The algorithms are not going to help us. So if you guys can, that would be great. If not, that's also good as well. So what do you think is going on in West Virginia? Do you think that this Ridge Runner is different? Let us know, and then comment with your fellow Fugel fam down below. And then France civil war fears as 45,000 police scrambled and the nation is facing an all anarchy. We don't know because mainstream media tells us that these things may happen, and then many times they do not. But France has had a pattern. This pattern has been that things are getting bad. But France is kind of a highlight of the entire world. Really, if you look at the entire world after CV shut down the world, including places that really couldn't afford to shut down. And then a lot of these countries went into debt. A lot of countries had money problems. And then, of course, the people start getting pissed. People are doing it all over the place. In fact, protests around the world have gone up in insane numbers. And we have covered most of these giant protests with hundreds of thousands of people in tons of different countries. Why is this happening? Well, since 2019, when everybody was forced to shut down, the economy tanked. And of course, they've done whatever they can to make it float. But at the same time, it seems like it was all done on purpose. Like there is a goal here. They want some sort of reset. That's, again, something that many people believe because they're kind of saying it out loud. In fact, the W and the E and the F have just straight up said that they want to reset the globe. So as far as the anarchy here, they're adding more police officers. They're adding thousands more police officers because they believe something's going to go on. Mainly, though, I would like to side point out France is one thing. France has already had riots and protests all year long because of the raising of the retirement age. But I also had it pointed out to me all over the world, all of these places that shut down for CV, a lot of these places went in the hole. They were negative. And isn't it funny that China comes in to basically save the day with their Belt and Road Initiative? They end up doing humongous loans to fix infrastructure and to come in and save the day because all of these places are broke. And then when they're too broke to pay them off, they end up owning chunks of it or getting something out of the deal. Rather than money, they get control. So it's kind of crazy how the world is rapidly changing and how it's rapidly changed in just the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, 5 years ago, this world was entirely different. And now we're sitting here with a major conflict going on and then about 10 other smaller major conflicts that could literally turn into World War III. As far as the people, many folks have commented that they don't blame France for protesting. Their leader is not well liked, at least by the people that watch my show. And again, it's maybe because of what we hear through the media, but the changes that Macron is making and the things that they're doing there is really pissing people off. And now they're worried about an actual civil conflict. Dex, go ahead.
Yeah, if a civil conflict breaks out here, that's a huge deal. And we were close to it. At least it seemed like it with the last round of riots. So this time they're talking even bigger. And the last time was about retirement, and now it's about a police issue with a young 17-year-old who was fatally hurt by the police. So this is escalating. But if this is another conflict that's in Europe, they'll have 2 conflicts going on. Even though this was an internal one, it's still an issue. And then let's not forget that France has tried to distance itself sometimes from what the West is doing, or trying to at least alienate itself in some way by taking odd positions. Also, they've got a little bit of a of ill will towards the U.S. over the whole nuke deal with Australia, as well as other things. And if there is actually a civil conflict that breaks out there, I would not surprise me if we don't see NGOs, which are probably involved, fueling it. Some of them could be from the US, some of them could be having ties to three-letter agencies. It would not surprise me if we see that kind of thing happen. It's no different than the type of fomenting we saw here around events like this. But this is at a much, much bigger scale and in an area that is very hotly amped up over a series of events for the last 6 months to a year there.
And they're not mad at the people. Like, they're in fact, from what I've seen at least, and I am not there, so I can't comment on this, but I've seen so many videos and photos of essentially people eating dinner or hanging out on a deck or sitting there. Meanwhile, other things are getting destroyed. And that's probably because the people are really, really pissed off at the government. They're not pissed off at the other French people. So is this the start of a revolution or a revolution there? I guess. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know below. Meat Papa 007 says, invasion in the U.S. is possible, though I think it's unlikely. Waiting for a Fantastic Freddy or an FF the way things are going. Shout out to the mods. Well, while we're on the subject, make sure to also go over to marfooglenews.com/friends and make sure to subscribe to all the mods. They all have great channels. They're all great creators in their own right. Chance, of course, with his books. He's an author on Amazon. Of course, we have Trinity, does extremely well-edited videos. Ilea is not only a comedian, voice actress, but she's also somebody who rescues crazy, crazy wild animals. So make sure to go check out her channel as well. And then Wages World is almost at 60,000 subscribers. He covers all of the solar events. He's a good friend of mine. He's a good man. He tries to help everybody he knows. So make sure to go check out them. They're just a couple to highlight. And then, of course, Rip Curl, RGL, and all of the rest. Lisa Hall, Gem, CJ Blaze, Bones, and Jammer1. All right, and then make sure to drop a M in the chat for the mods. They do an awesome job keeping it peaceful and bringing people together and of course, listing all of the links that are necessary. So thank you guys. Let's see here. So we're going to go into China tightens Xi Jinping's power against the West with a new law. Dex, do you want to go over this? Again, this one actually I was a little confused by it first until it was explained.
Yeah, so if you guys recall, we talked a bit about some of the companies that were raided. And when I say companies, I mean Western companies or U.S. companies that had, employees and offices in China, and then their staffs were thrown or detained, and they were raided and all their stuff was looked through. Some of that is the type of power that the CCP, or in this case, Xi, can wield. What they're saying is they've actually created some new laws that go into effect July 1st that will give him more power against those entities, not just those that he went after, but anybody that it has, some sort of action or in Xi's country. So if they can, it gives him the ability to punish those entities, as he says, that act in ways that are detrimental to China's interests. So they don't specify what exactly that looks like. And even some people are looking at this and saying, yeah, there's just a lot of fluff in here. But at the end of the day, he can do pretty much whatever he wants. So that fluff sort of gives him more power against companies. And I'll give you a good example. A big, huge company like Apple, the largest company in the world, they hit $3 trillion in value today. It's the first time that they've actually closed over 3 trillion. So that's the largest company ever made. Okay. They are embedded heavily there. So they are dependent on, developing the products there. They're obviously scrambling. They've been doing it for the last 2 years to move stuff to other countries. But if they're doing something that is negative towards China or detrimental, as I said, then he can then enact things against them significantly. And that would then hurt that business. And that business is more likely going to be like, yeah, if you need me to, do a certain filter on phones over in your country, we'll do it because that's your law and you're telling us we have to do it. Otherwise, we're going to get booted.
It's just another way that they are interjecting everything into it. So before we move on, I do want to remind you guys right now, I had no idea that this was still going on. They actually have the huge 15% off sale on the Energy X2. This is a great unit. I have one myself. In fact, I have two that are dual linked. This is a great unit because it is all built in one. The battery is built in. It's already a UPS. It's an uninterrupted power supply. This is a solar generator that, when teamed up with solar panels, can create power from the sun. Not only that, it can store it on demand for when you need it. So say if you have your fridge plugged into this plugged into the wall, the fridge can draw power from the wall, but when the power goes out, it will immediately switch over to the Kodiak. The Kodiak X2 has a great frame. It's built well. It's built like a truck. And then, of course, it is also able to be dual linked. So when you dual link it, you can actually double the capacity and double the output. It's also awesome because it is very, very portable. These are silent. They make virtually no noise. They make no noise unless you really, really output the pretty much the max. And then when you do, it's a tiny fan. The difference is when you have a gas generator that's running, somebody can hear it from 3 blocks away. If SHTF happens, then you don't want to be the loud and out there one with power when nobody else has it. You want to be a gray man. This is the way to do that. Also, it's a way to, again, not spend $5 a gallon on gas. Right now, on top of our discount, you actually have the 15% off. So if you have a sale like that with lithium products that are in this height of demand, it's definitely the good time to do it. If I would have known this, I'm sorry I didn't tell you guys about this a couple days ago, because this is a huge, huge sale. That is, again, a huge discount on top of our discount. So that stacking is also something that does not happen very often with any of our affiliates. So make sure to go over to marfugglenews.com/energy, INERGY, and make sure to use the code Marfoogle, because on the X2, you will get the 15% off and you will get our discount. So that's a really great deal. marfugglenews.com/energy. And again, Energy has now been selected with their tactical as part of the U.S. Army X-Tech SBR Phase 2 contract. So when they say that they're military tough, that Flex Tactical, which was designed by the Air Force Research Laboratory and Energy, is about to be used all over the place. So again, this is one of the best companies out there. You want a reliable solar generator when you do get one, because if things go down, you don't want to sit there and press the button and nothing happen. So that's why people go with Energy. Again, it's a really, really awesome machine. And it's something that it comes in invaluable. It's priceless when you do lose your power. And again, it doesn't have to be for SHTF. It can be for any event. If you lose your power just during a storm, and pretty much everywhere around the U.S. right now is having crazy storms at one point of the year. That's marfugglenews.com/energy. Or if you're California, they just pull your power for shiz and giggles. All right, that's again marfugglenews.com/energy, INERGY, and make sure to use the code Marfoogle. And then Taiwanese foreign minister claims China is repeating the origin of the Second World War. We almost went off on a side video just all on this because there's so much to talk about, of course, of history repeating itself and how we are literally repeating these steps right before World War II. It goes back to the big thing of like nobody wants to admit that we're in World War III right now. I believe it's already started. I believe that it is going to happen. And I also believe it's not going to be the end of the world. It's not going to be nukes exchanged and everybody dies. I believe it's going to be the start of the agendas that they have already put out right in front of us. By 2030, the world is going to be a different place. And they've pretty much made that clear. Dex, do you want to explain as far as how this gentleman and what he's saying is just another thing to add? What we've been saying for years, now people are starting to catch on in mainstream too.
Exactly. So Joseph Wu, the foreign minister in Taiwan, was saying, hey, this is what, people need to pay attention to history. And what China's been doing is they're repeating the same mistakes we've seen, especially in the second conflict. But he was basically trying to say, like, there are plenty of conflicts that have started over an accident, like just something happened and then it just escalates or snowballs from there. And we've said that. We talk about that all the time when it comes to drills, especially the big ones that happen in a location specific. Not, the West Virginia one is interesting because of what they're doing, But the Air 23 that was going on in Air Defender 23 that was going on in Europe, right up against the border, so to speak, of the conflict. That when those things are going on, or the drills that are happening in South China Sea or any of those locations, when they're happening, it is simple for one thing to go wrong and turn into an escalated event that then turns into a conflict, almost like we saw with the drone. Remember the drone that got taken down by a Russian aircraft? That wasn't even a drill. That was just one little incident, one mistake. Fortunately, we didn't escalate anything, and it would have probably been a lot different had that plane had people on it and it was forced down by a Russian jet. So he's definitely saying, like, look at what they're doing to our country. They are coming in, they're making this normalization, and by normalization they mean do it repeatedly, coming in and doing these drills, if you want to call it that, up against Taiwan, and eventually there's going to be an accident, and when that accident happens, it will probably kick things off.
Or the missile in Poland that went off course, and it was all this shady stuff. The pipelines getting blown up. Like, any of these could have started things, and because all of these things get to this kind of hot point and then all get drawn back, I think people are so used to things getting really, really close to hot and then taken back that people really just can't believe that it will actually happen. From a prepper standpoint of view, we are always looking at it from, even if it's a 1% chance, it's an unlikely thing to happen, like an invasion on the U.S. It's something that we prepare for. This is news from a prepper standpoint. So speaking of awesome preppers, Survival Living just got a membership. Thank you so much for getting a badge. It says headed in for night shift. Survival Living. Thank you, Joseph, and I appreciate that. And good luck at work tonight. If you guys haven't checked out Joseph's channel over on Survival Living, that is also on marfooglenews.com/friends. And he's been growing really fast as well. I think you're almost to another milestone as well, right? Let's see here. Survival Living is at 60,000. Congratulations. That is huge. That is one of the largest football stadiums out there. If you could visualize that. So much congratulations, Joseph. I hope that you get to 100, 200, 500. I hope you surpass us. So thank you. And thank you for the support. Again, so Joseph's actually going to be on over on our show, and then we're going to be over on his show in a couple of weeks. He is going to be on the 6th, July 6th on Thursday. So make sure to tune in next Thursday for Survival Living. All right, and then as far as history repeating itself, I pointed out briefly, like 87% of the kids nowadays they're not proficient in history. That's a giant mess up on our generation's shoulders here. We're responsible for this in somewhat, because whatever is happening in the schools, the fact that 87% of students are not proficient in history means we are not headed to a good place. If they don't, and it's like it's on purpose. Now, 87% is like they're purposely doing something. They're focused on teaching them, how to be fluid rather than what are the facts. You get what I'm saying? Like they should be focused on arithmetic and respect. That's my personal belief. So again, I don't understand why 87% of our kids are not proficient in history. You would think like 30% or 40%, 50% if things are really failing. Almost 90% of our children do not know what the heck happened in the last 100 years. That's absurd. That is a travesty, and it's a tragedy at the same time. Thank you again. Thank you so much. Jay says, don't at all think that Frank's growing is because of the pensions rising because of the 1,000%. Let me go back to that. My gat, the hate them and religion der practice is shame-coded messages. I didn't really get that as much, but you don't think it's I think some spell checking went wrong there, but basically it does not think it's because of the rising pensions. It's because of something else. I don't know. Jay, thank you so much for the support. I will have to, I don't know if that is a coded message, but I'll have to figure that out. Maybe I'll rearrange it and put it up on the wall with shoestrings and thumbtacks. Later, though. Later. Yeah, I'm reading it backwards and forth. I cannot make sense of that. Sorry, Jay. If you put it in the regular chat, and if you meant to, I will try to get that. It's perplexing because it almost makes sense. Maybe it's like one of those choose your own ending adventures or something. Maybe the next one will like add to. Thank you so much, Jay. All right, and then I'm awake. Are you locked and loaded? Let's see here. Vinny, nice to see you. I think it's been a while. Yeah, you haven't been here in a while. Let's see here. Immortan, Team Orca, only flies. Electricity may be an issue. Need a key to decode, End Pursuit says. Yoda speaks, says C. Harthing. It is it, yes. Yeah, I think that worked. And then the Biden administration could soon approve sending controversial cluster munitions to Ukraine. It said that the JB administration is strongly considering approving the transfer of controversial cluster munition warheads to Ukraine. Multiple people familiar with the matter told CNN. Again, this is CNN exclusive. They're always getting the exclusive because, of course, if they're like parrots, they repeat whatever they want. So, again, they also get the exclusive on this new news. I believe that means that this is going to happen. Dex, don't you think if CNN is putting that they're thinking about cluster munitions, then that's going to put it in the people's heads that all support this, say, oh, yeah, good idea. Good idea. Send those controversial cluster munitions to the Ukraine any way we can support. They're fighting for freedom. What do you think?
I think they're looking at anything and everything in the arsenal, the chest there that's not nuclear and not banned by like Geneva conventions or something like that. Anything else, they're trying to find ways to get it to them, no matter what it is. I know that even the Pentagon, I think, came out and was talking about working with or trying to get these approved so they could send them over. So yeah, kind of controversial. This is no different than what we talked about with the depleted uranium shells that they're using too. So, and of course, you know, Putin came out and said, hey, that's a line. We can say that that's now nuclear and you're using that over here. So that gives us a reason to have a response. Although it's not necessarily the same thing. Yes, there is some form of output from it, but it's not a nuke, so to speak. But these clusters are definitely controversial. I think it's mostly because of the fact that they do cluster out and can have a lot of additional damage done, as opposed to being precision, where you strike one piece of equipment and it's one and done.
Jay responded and says, LOL, shut it. I couldn't post the keywords because YouTube wouldn't let me. Again, phonetically is a good way. You can try phonetically in a regular chat, and I will reread it. I know exactly what you mean. I've tried to take, and they have the weirdest words that it won't let. There's certain ones, or you could do, I guess you could do periods before, but sometimes it just won't let you say certain things. Like I couldn't say happy birthday one time. I thought that was weird, and it was I think it was BP Earthwatch or somebody else. But let's see here. Abe Boris, I think I get what you're saying. Somebody else said it in chat. Hey Trinity Red Blue Hey Trinity Red Pill Blue Pill Hi Ho Kermit the Frog. Love you, Eric Ibu Elliott. Thank you so much. And Trinity, it's nice to see you here. It's always good. And then let's see here. By the way, I think I missed somebody there. William Booth, thank you for subscribing. Thank you, Daryl, for subscribing. Thank you for Adam for subscribing. Wendy on Washington, thank you for subscribing. And then John Mercado, thank you for subscribing. Let's see here. And then, so why didn't it show me that first one? It did not show me one of those, did it? Let me go all the way back here. Let's see. I feel like YouTube didn't show me one of those. That's weird. Speaking of weirdness, somebody did a $2 super chat and I did not see that. Dex, could you see if you can see the first person? Jaws Wolf sent one before the show started. Jaws Wolf, thank you. But there was another person right after that did a $2 one and it didn't show me. So I do want to say thank you and apologize. Oh, I'm Batman78. Thank you. Basically said what's up to the decks and the mods and much love. Thank you. I'm Batman78 if you're still here. And then Russian forces begin to flee Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, UKR Defense Intelligence says. We're going to get into a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to get into the Wagner mercenary satellite photos. We're going to get into the plot to take out Putin and the bridge, of course. And then we're going to talk about suspect footage of possible body doubles. But first, why are they all talking about July 5th? Something is very off about this. The chatter around this is very, very odd. Now, tell me what you think when you see this first paragraph. It says, the Russian invaders have begun to gradually leave Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, and some of the employees have also been instructed to leave the plant by the 5th of July, Defense Intelligence of Ukraine, DIU reports. Now, remember, this is from UKR's side on this. Thank you, AK, forever in my heart. Appreciate that. This is from the UK side, but it says the latest data indicates that the occupying forces are gradually leaving the territory of Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. 3 employees of Rosatom, Russian state corporation specializing in nuclear energy, who led the Russians' actions, were among the first to leave the facility. It says UKR employees who have signed a contract with Rosatom have also been advised to evacuate under the instructions received. They should leave by the 5th of July. So I don't know what's going on here. This is a day after our Independence Day here, and I don't know, just say something did bad happen. It would almost be like, hey, they're working with us on something like, oh, let the American people have their 4th of July. Let them, wake up hungover to an absolute disaster. Why is this? We've seen kind of deadlines like this before, and we don't understand them. So this isn't a number that we're making up. July 5th isn't something that's going through the chattering. It's a now created chatter of its own because there's other events that line up with this. There's, of course, now all of the previous things that have happened with this whole Wagner rebellion, and now supposedly there is satellite photos showing that the Wagner base is basically getting beefed up and getting ready for something. Belarus now has tactical nukes. Now there are trenches dug for some sort of world war. So what the heck do you guys think is actually happening? Thank you, Bobby Sue Fry, and then thank you everybody that just popped into chat. Lots of really great names here. Robert Santo, thank you for the super sticker, and I appreciate that. That's awesome. Video game controller NPC. That's great. Oh, who said that? Sent something, planting the flag for a false. So that's what many people think. Fantastic Freddy, as we call it. It seems a dismay. Dex, go ahead.
So I just want to remind people, this is hot on the heels of at least 2 different reports coming out of UKR. Again, this is coming out of UKR, saying that they are predicting, or they have intelligence that's telling them something is going to happen at this plant and that Russia will be to blame. The other thing, as far as the date goes, keep in mind, they are many hours ahead of us over there. So they actually would be the 15th, or the 5th, would be going on while the 4th is still rolling out here. So it'll be our evening and it'll be their morning. So keep that in mind. The other thing is there's one last quote in here. It said, meanwhile, intelligence reports that Russian occupiers have instructed the personnel who remain at the station to, quote unquote, blame UKR in the event of any emergency.
Like, if this isn't a setup for something amiss, then I don't know what is. Again, intelligence reports, and this is from the UKR side. When it's when the first word is intelligence, most people are like, okay, they roll their eyes, and you probably should. But there is a scenario that nobody wants to see, which is no matter what it is, Zaporizhzhia, something happens, and they have been talking about it for months. They've gotten into every American and Western nation's head that something could go down at Rosatom and at Zaporizhzhia. And We showed you that they led up to this. They quietly did this press release where they did this, bipartisan support. The Congress, Blumenthal and Graham did this press release saying, we just wanted to let you guys know we passed a resolution that essentially shows our support for an immediate invocation of Article 5 if anything happens to the Zaporizhzhia power plant that would result in radiation of any kind going over NATO lines. Basically, if they have high readings in Finland or Poland or any other neighboring country, that it's done, son. Invocation of Article 5. Go straight to it. No conversation, no Article 4. Just boom, bam, bing, bam. Thank you, ma'am. I think that's how it goes. I might have paraphrased the boom, bam, but you guys get what I'm saying. They say blame Ukraine in the event of any emergency. This is not shady at all.
Sarcasm.
Nana of Montana says, I miss being able to get on as much as I used to, but I'm always pleased with your shows. Thank you, Adam, Dex, and Mods. The show has the best chat family. You are all awesome. No, this is not a mistake. My way of saying thank you. Nana, and again, thank you so much. And Nana, I appreciate you. I actually just added you to the scroller along with many others like Texas Rob and Cynthia Lynn and Amy R. and everybody else. So thank you guys. I appreciate you. And thank you for the people that support our show. This year has been rough, especially with everything going on and how the platforms treat controversial content. So thank you so much, Nana, and I appreciate you. And again, thank you. And I do ask folks if they do any kind of bigger super chat. I ask if it's a mistake because most of the time it is, and people don't really see that, but a lot of them it's the system. They shouldn't have a scrolling bar for that. They should have it where you manually have to type it in and then confirm it. Let's see here. Putin is a good bloke. I love Russia. My girlfriend is from St. Petersburg in Russia. Huru TV. You've been here a long time, Huru. Thank you so much. Nickel Wise, Justin. Let's see here. Team Orca OnlyFans. Team Orca? You have an OnlyFans called Team Orca. That's interesting. Brandon Scott. Hey, Marf and Fugel fam. I rarely catch a live show. I will definitely watch the replay. Thank you, Adam and Dex, for such an amazing show. Hey, well, thank you. And again, thank you to the mods, too. Let's see here. About 6 hour difference from Eastern time zone. Easy pass. Hey, nice to see you, Odie, and everybody else. Thank you, Stephen McMahon. Adam, you referenced Wham Bam. Thank you, ma'am. Earlier, was a line in a song, but originally from the book Happy Hooker. I did not know that. The more you know. That was originally, I think, an NBC commercial, right? Before we move on, make sure to go over to marfugglenews.com/EMP. This is a very incredible device that when wired into your cars, your trucks, your boats, or anything else that pretty much drives, this can protect your vehicle from an EMP or a CME. Even better, this is also something that I did not know. The memorial sale is still going on, so it's 10% on top of our discount, which again, that's a huge, huge, huge deal. So make sure to get over there, marfugglenews.com/EMP. That's $50 off from our discount and then an extra 10%, which essentially covers tax in most areas. So again, this is a great time to go get it. That is, again, the EMP Shield Micro posted, but what's super easy is this is a very easy way to explain it. Red to red, black to black, and green to ground. That's how easy this is to hook up to your car battery to protect your vehicle and to keep it running. It can ground the signal in less than 500 trillionths of a second before it can fry your device. That means when an electromagnetic pulse attack happens, or if it happens, it will ground that signal before it can fry your car, truck, or anything else. It can also protect against a solar event. We have been talking about how now we're in solar cycle 25. The new solar maximum is now coming earlier and earlier. According to scientists, they're watching the alarming rate that the solar maximum is happening. So if you do want to protect against either of those events and lightning, then go over to marfugglenews.com/EMP. You can also get a home version, a generator version. You can even get an Energy Flex 1500 version. And you can actually wire it into your house to protect everything plugged in within 250 feet. So everything plugged into your wall that is within 250 feet will be protected against lightning, against, of course, EMP or solar events. That way, when the power does come back on, you're not left with a house full of basically junk. All right, marfugglenews.com/EMP, and make sure to use the code MARF. Again, there is an extra 10% on top of the $50 off per device. So make sure to utilize that while you can. All right. And that's the same company that agencies like DOD, DHS has been using, and then, of course, the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid. And then some suspect footage of Putin in Dagestan. I think I'm saying that right. Dex, is that Dagestan? Dagestan?
I would have said Dagestan, but I don't know.
Dagestan, of being a body double. Why? This used to be like, if you said that this kind of stuff, it would be a conspiracy, right? Now it's being said all the time about both of them. That actually does kind of look like somebody else, doesn't it? Dex, when you saw the picture, it does kind of look like somebody else.
Yeah, they have, and it does, and they've been questioning this for a while now. Even I think General SVR is one that's been putting out a whole lot of the double this, double that, double's been doing seen here, etc. But you know, what's interesting here is the actions taken by this person who's claiming to be Putin are not the actions he normally takes. In this case, he's running around in a crowd with a lot of people, hugging, kissing. You know, I think there's even a picture in here of him, like, you know, blowing bubbles on the belly of a kid. Rich, that just doesn't, yeah, that would probably make all sorts of weird news here if our president was doing that to a child. But they say, like, he's a germaphobe. He doesn't normally do this. And there's a picture in here of him sitting at a table, like, you know, the whole room away. It's not because he's, you know, Dr. Evil trying to look cool. It's because he doesn't get around people. He doesn't want to be around people. And oh, by the way, there's all of this other stuff going on about his health. Some that, you know, is speculation. Some of it has actually, you know, been revealed, but he has health issues too that are going on. Some are speculating significant health issues. So they're saying, hey, these actions don't look right. So now we can layer in the whole conspiracy that everybody has, which is, look at the picture, look at the ears. Does this really look like him? Is that really him? Could it be a double? But at the same time, the actions are just odd. Like, he doesn't normally get in the face. Now, you could write this off and say, well, he's trying to recover from the Wagner experience, right? So he's trying to, you know, counter any negativity that may have come his way. So maybe these actions are appropriate, or he's doing these strange actions because of that.
Hold up,
but they're saying, yeah, go ahead.
Does that kid have a Captain America hat on? I swear that's like the Captain America A. This is so off. Imagine, though, if you wanted to do really good PR, just have 10 body doubles in every city. I've heard of kissing babies, but not kissing bellies. That is just so absolutely awkward. In fact, I thought that was in America for a second. That's absolutely weird. As far as this guy, it looks like he has a completely different facial structure. This one looks like it's straight out of a wax museum. This looks like the Las Vegas wax museum right here. That doesn't look like him at all. But they do have body doubles. Every president does. This one, which I don't know if this is supposedly the real one, but that looks like somebody completely different also. I mean, that does not look like him whatsoever. Wouldn't it?
Well, and some of these are comparisons, right? They're trying to compare, like, hey, look at the ears here, look at the ears there. Some of these are old photos. Some of these may be more current. But the one, you know, I don't think that necessarily the kissing the kid is a current photo, because it kind of looks pretty grainy and old. But the one they're talking about, or the fact that they're talking about in Dagestan, or however you pronounce that city, is that he's in the crowd. He's in there interacting with people, which is just so not like his nature, especially in the last few years with his health issues.
He looks so much like, this picture makes him look like that actor. He always plays like the guy that will end up sabotaging the underwater experiment or something, or like the Nettie from Jurassic Park. He plays that kind of character. I can't think of his name because he's usually a side character, but this does not look like him. Would he be putting himself with all of these people? And maybe that's the whole point. Maybe these are hired extras. Maybe it is him and they were hired extras because he's trying to put it out there that he's not paranoid about being taken out. The Western media, also, if this was real, they wouldn't want you to think it was real either because they have just put this whole narrative out there that he is traveling by night, that he is essentially hiding from everything because he's paranoid about his life. He has somebody, taste test everything 3 times and all of that. So when there are real clips of him doing stuff like that, shaking people's hands and even security service, his Secret Service type people, I don't know if it's FSB, getting in the way and Putin going, no, I want to shake his hand, or seeing a coin or whatever. There's tons of shorts out there. So what do you think? Do you think that's a real one? Definitely the pictures below are from whatever time frames, but it's like, wouldn't you be pissed if you had a body double and he did something weird? That guy's probably not going to live to see another day. Or in fact, he's probably got a gravestone by now. Imagine your body double going and kissing a belly or something. Are they doing baby body shots? Like, what the heck is going on here? Stephen McMahon, thank you, and thank you again. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Yeah, that's just wild. And then satellite images appear to show a buildup at the Wagner base in Belarus. So actually, and it didn't load, Dex. I didn't think it was going to. Let me see. Yeah. Do you want to talk about it? I'm going to pull up the regular article here. Unless it looks like you might be trying to grab it.
Yeah, I was going to give you the picture real quick, but
that's okay. Let me grab it. Let me see.
I'll go ahead and talk about it. So what they're saying is a new base new encampments were set up in Belarus. And based on these satellite images, they're starting to show that facilities were set up in recent days, looking like a swift construction of a base for Wagner. And they're suggesting now that maybe it's not just him, but it's him and his company that is coming there. Now, it's still a lot of speculation as to whether or not, what role he's going to play at that location. We do know that Lukashenko had made the comment, yeah, it would be nice to have someone like him to help train my military or be put to use in my military. And the assumption was training. There's a lot of speculation that maybe a lot of this was just a facade to get him to move the team there because it's closer to Kiev, and maybe they will then do something from there. Of course, there's the other speculation that says, hey, he was really doing a coup and, Putin's really mad at him. And while he let him off the hook to stop the coup, he's probably got a target on him and he might not want to, be on high floor levels anytime soon. So all of that, we don't know. And all of this is just speculation and conjecture, but this photograph is showing the pop-up of a lot of equipment and facilities being put together in a very short amount of time. And the presumption is it's for the Wagner group, not just Prigozhin himself.
My question is, who took the satellite photo? Is this North Korea satellite photo, or was it taken on a flip Nokia or something? This is a horrible picture.
It's probably commercial, not military, obviously.
It was squinting. Do satellites squint? Don't know. And then plot to assassinate Putin on Moscow bridge foiled by Russian Secret Service. According to this, a takeout attempt on Vladimir Putin has been foiled, Russian authorities claim. The Federal Protection Service, the FSB or FSO, responsible for the protection of top Russian officials, claims it has bettered a bid to take out the autocrat that would have allegedly seen explosives laid on a riverbed below a bridge. It says a barge has been suspected of being laying explosives under an unnamed bridge that Putin's motorcade was expected to travel down, according to the Telegram channel Vachek. It says the unidentified bridge is thought to be en route from the Kremlin and Putin's official residence outside of Moscow. says just yesterday, the warmonger was at the Strong Ideas for New Time by the Russian Agency of Strategic Initiative for the World Trade Center, and videos have since emerged of security services close to Novobarbatsky Bridge scouring the water. They were apparently looking for the boom booms, but meanwhile, he's kissing bellies, or again, shaking hands and kissing babies and shaking babies and kissing hands or something. Again, we don't know what is the truth here. What would that feed into as part of the narratives out there? And then Wagner mercenary hackers destroy Russian satellite comms. Before we hit that, just a quick reminder, make sure to go over to marfooglenews.com/prep. There is a new sale. All of the sales pretty much changed over right now. So really good ones right now. There is $80 off on the 1 month supply. For those of you who, of course, not everybody can afford the 3 month supply sale that was going on. Now they have $80 off on a 1 month supply. And that's actually a better deal than the $200 off on the 3 month supply. If you think about it, that is $80 off on 1 month. So if you do end up getting 3 months, as you were, that would be, I believe, $240 off. So make sure to go over to marfooglenews.com/prep. They also have anti-radiation tablets. They have lighting. They have power banks. They have radios. They have survival gear, and of course, survival books, because we won't have Google if everything goes down. Go to marfooglenews.com/prep. And then we have the Russian satellite hack, apparently. It says Russian satellite communications provider Dozer Teleport has been hacked, knocking it off the internet. It says, was it Prigozhin's PMC Wagner that did the deed, or could it have been UKR? The SATCOM service is known to be used by the Russian military, so either theory checks out. The fog of war is thick in today's SB. Sound the horn. It says restoration may take several months, was a quote. A group of previously unknown hackers has claimed the responsibility for a cyber attack on a Russian satellite communications provider, Dozer Teleport. Dozer's parent company, Amtelsevjes, has suffered a significant outage. The group behind the hack claims to be affiliated with the notorious Wagner Group, the Russian private mercenary army that made global headlines last week when it marched towards Moscow to rebel against the Russian government. Prigozhin fled to Belarus. Some experts expressed skepticism that the group was involved. So, again, my belief is that the whole rebellion thing was just a complete ploy to distract. I don't know what the heck that was. They were never, ever going to be able to take over the whole country unless everybody in Russia just dropped their weapon and said, yeah, we're going to join you, Prigozhin. Let's go party and get drunk. I just don't see it happening. It's like, again, I talked about how the regular military that's not getting paid an arm and a leg, for them to be fans of Prigozhin and his group of cronies that are making big bucks to go fight, I would think there'd be some resentment there, and they wouldn't just drop everything to join him. But again, who knows? Dex, go ahead.
Well, here's the other thing. This is what they call a hacktivist group, and they're suggesting, they're saying that they don't know if it really has ties, if it really has the ties to Wagner, because it could actually be tied to UKR, and they could be making a claim that they are tied to Wagner so as to push that consternation between Putin and the Wagner Group, or Putin and Prigozhin, even further. So if that's the case, it literally could be somebody on UKR's side doing this and just trying to make it look like it's Wagner. If it is Wagner, that's even stranger. Like, if it's Wagner, that's gonna change the game, and we're gonna have to figure this what they're really doing next. But it probably seems like, in my opinion, it would seem like that latter version is more likely from a psychological point of view.
It just doesn't sit right. It's, again, something that what are they painting? Like, what is the end game for all of this? Where are they going with it? What is the behind the scenes on all of this? I don't know. Michael Thompson, $10 super chat to get Dex an intro double. LOL. Am I the only one who says his intro with him? Dex, what is it? Hello, Foogle fam, and doing fine, right? Is that what it is?
Hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam.
I'm doing just fine.
I had to echo, just cause. And then shout out from Seattle, much love from my Huskies and I, Caitlin Sweat. Man, that's awesome. You're from Seattle. I love Huskies. I've always wanted Huskies, but again, they're big dogs. And then Brills Media says July 5th is the beginning of the spent fuel rod pond, which is overheating. Oh, okay. So it says July 5th is the start date to watch for radiation exposure. July 5th, just to read this again, if this is true, then Fugel fan member Bryles Media says July 5th is the beginning of the spent fuel rod pond, which is overheating. July 5th is the start date to watch for radiation exposure. Now, remember what Graham and Blumenthal, maybe they leave that out of mainstream media. Maybe they say, so the spent rod, which, by the way, the dam that blew up, supposedly the water that was no longer held back so then it could cool things. What if that plays into this? So after that went down, somebody else took out the dam. The water is no longer there to cool it. Then they know they have a certain timeline that this thing is going to start going wrong. Then our politicians say bipartisan support because, we're going to invoke Article 5 if anything happens to the plant, knowing that there's no way something isn't going to happen because they can't fix the dam that quick and they can't cool it that quick. Something happens at the dam, radiation starts spilling out, and then they go in, we're invoking Article 5. I mean, that's actually quite a believable path for this to go bad. That's kind of a freaky thing. So if you are right, I hope then that's also a concerning thing, because no matter what, if Zaporizhzhia starts radiating things, then apparently they're saying that they're going to invoke Article 5. Good, great comment. Thank you.
And hey, Adam, if we go back in time a little bit, we talked about the IAEA experts after the dam had ruptured. They said, hey, don't worry, they have sufficient water to meet its cooling needs. But they said that was only for the short term. So what happens for the long term? All that water receded. So if they need more water, but there's no dam there to flood it back up, is this their plan, is to, hey, we're going to vacate before because nobody's solving that problem? I don't know what short term means in the IEEA's definition, but this is pretty short in my opinion.
Yeah, I wonder what is actually happening with that. But it sounds like they're setting us up to let us know that if something happens, anything happens, they're going to go to the kind of worst case scenario. And then, Dex, do you want to cover the highly radioactive spill near me? I didn't know this until you found it. That's really freaky.
Well, I think you knew this. And I think this, because this is an old spill. But what's coming out is they're actually saying it's worse than they expected. So this is your neck of the woods, Hanford. There was a spill there a while back. And they, I don't remember what the date was on this. We probably even covered it.
I don't.
I know we've talked about it before.
I don't remember this. I didn't.
Yeah.
You sent it to me, and I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah. So, but anyway, what they're coming out now and saying is, hey, we think that this stuff actually got deeper and broader as far as the contamination. And now this is in an area, I guess, that's north of Richland and near the Columbia River. So that wouldn't be a good thing either. This is Hanford area. So, but that's what they're basically coming out and saying is the spill of cesium and strontium in the soil beneath the 324 building is so radioactively hot that it would be lethal to a worker on direct contact within 2 minutes. The DOE had previously said. So now they're saying, and I think this has been over 6 years ago. So that's what it is. So anyway, actually the spill was 13 years ago. I apologize. The radioactive material, and they've been making preparations for 6 years, but now they're saying, hey, it appears it's even worse than we ever said. So for those of you that live in that area, it may be time to think about relocating if you can, or at least paying attention to what's going to happen and if they'll release more information to give us some more details about what this how it will actually affect the public around there, and if it does at all. This kind of stuff's pretty dangerous. So
Why is it in some sort of big movie or video game? Cesium. Why is this something? I feel like I don't know if I've covered stuff about cesium, but it says cesium-137, a deadly hazard. I don't know if that's the same. I feel like we've covered a story now. I feel like we've covered something around cesium, and they found some sort of, maybe it was that thing when they found something at a bench in a park, and it was a radiation detector or something. But it actually had radiation in it or something. I feel like cesium, maybe it was the plot to a Call of Duty or something. I don't know. I feel like there's something there, but I hope that the people in Washington, especially that live around this, super careful. Just, I don't know how to be careful and avoid this. I know about Hanford. I've drove past it a million times. And I know that they have all sorts of weird stuff around that. There's rumors in Washington that some of the people that live around Hanford have been affected by it. But again, that's disturbing to say the least. And let's see here. The massive fire that broke out at Warner Bros. Instantly had so many theories flying. It's already been extinguished, but they say it was a transformer. And that transformer blew up and caused this fire. I just wonder, was it a transformer at the top of a pole? Was it one of those bigger ground-based transformer and then it spread like wildfire? It was a massive fire. And right away, people were saying, oh, are they covering something up, whatever else. I don't know what the general theories are because this happened a few hours before the show, but it was extinguished by the time we went on. But it's just kind of strange to me that there was this fire today. Yesterday was a fire at Tiffany's. I wonder if we're going to keep seeing a pattern of like these really kind of urban fires. And is it something like, a vandal? Is it somebody setting the fires? People even said like DEW, directed energy and stuff like that. I think that's a bit wild because I also think that would be from the roof up like Tiffany's. They said, oh, dude, how would that work? I would think the whole building from the top down would have it. But what do you guys think about this? Of course, there was so many crazy theories right after this happened. But why is it that no matter what, if it's just any kind of fire now, people think it's suspicious? It's like we are so utterly confused about the world right now. Everybody is so paranoid. It's not a good thing. It's a good thing to ask questions, but I don't think it's a good thing that literally anything happens now. We are paranoid that we're getting screwed over. It just shows you how much people trust anything right now. Nobody trusts anybody. And it's kind of a sad thing to think about when you think about how little we trust in our system, in our media, in our other, fellow Americans here. I know that European countries have a lot more trust in their neighbors. Canada has a lot more trust in their neighbors. But Americans, it's like we are so utterly divided on everything. What do you think happened at Warner Bros? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm open-minded about what happened there. Again, if it was just a transformer that blew up, why? Did it surge? Whatever else. Was it just a normal event? Wonder if they have surveillance footage of it, since it is one of the most secure places. All of those movie studios have extreme security, especially because when they shoot movies, they do it like top style, confidential. They don't want anything leaking out, not even a picture by a paparazzi. So will they have footage of this afterwards? And there was plenty of meme jokes like, did they let what's his face in from Rust 2? Dex, go ahead.
I don't know if they have anything to do with it, but man, they could have milked this one for Transformers Rise of the Beast because that's coming out in May, isn't it?
Oh, like literally a Transformer blew up.
Transformer.
It was Bumblebee. It was Optimus Prime. That's a good one. Should have thought of that first. All right. Well, so yeah, there's a lot of odd events going on. Some may think they're normal. I don't know. There's just too many going on to think that it's all just normal. Don't worry about radiation. Just put your mask on again. Be a real beast. Be a good, what is it? Be a good boy. You know, I deleted that song. Be a good boy. Put your, well, I can't even remember the lyrics to it.
Mascot.
Be a good mascot. Put your mask on. I got to remake that one. That sucks. I'll have to go back to like how I made it because it's on jams. But somebody offered to they wanted to put that in the end of their movie. It was like an actual big director offered. But who you remember that? But I had to make a real song out of it, and I don't make real songs.
They wanted a longer version.
Yeah,
that doesn't exist.
They wanted to make it for the credits of a big movie. I really appreciated that person, by the way. Thank you so much. And that was really cool that you made that offer. I appreciate it. But I again, don't do my music for money, nor do I think it's, I do think some of it's good, but I really appreciated that. But I don't have the talent or skill to do a full song out of it. So thank you. Yeah. And then let's see here. So let's go over the web only. And before we do, I just want to remind you, it really is. I'm sorry I told you guys late. Go check out the energy thing with the extra 15% off. For those of you that, again, it's a hard thing to do to save up for one of these things. Make sure to go over and check it out now because that is 15% off on top of our regular discount. So we don't know how often that will happen. And I think it's because of special kind of a scenario that happened and that the X2, again, is an awesome unit. So make sure to go over and check that out. And they're probably not going to have a surplus of lithium again, considering all of the situations that are going on. So make sure to go check that out, marfooglenews.com/energy, INERGY. Let's go over the web only. Lots of really crazy stuff here.
Yes, head over to marfooglenews.com. Click on the thumbnail for today's show or open up that show notes link down below in the description. It'll take you right here to this page with all the content we just covered. So if you're looking for the sources for something we just talked about, it's there. Go to our website. You'll find it. As you scroll down, you'll find this overflow section. This is where the rest of the story is. We put it all together for you every night. So lots happening. There's an interesting article about the U.S. and China chip wars and coming from an Indian point of view and how India is positioning itself to play out in that semiconductor technology field. And that probably goes hand in hand with what I was mentioning earlier about Apple trying to diversify and not being solely stuck to China as an example. There's a whole lot of Supreme Court rulings. We've talked about a few of these earlier in the week that had come out, and last week a couple, but they're like getting a whole lot of stuff done at the Supreme Court. So if you want to know what's going on, what they struck down, the student loan stuff, some other updates for the wedding cake guy and others, that's all there. It's on the website if you want to see what's going on with that. We do have some updates around the political space, not a lot, just a little bit about what's going on. And get this, Pence went to UKR, is making a surprise trip to meet with Zelensky. So not that many people follow him, but it's in the news. It's there. Definitely some other updates going on in with the UKR stuff. So we've got the, what's happening with in Russia, and more specifically some plots to take out Prigozhin. Although those are all, we talked about it earlier. It's all this conjecture about what's happening based on this failed coup or this Lukashenko saving the day. So all of that's in there. If you're looking for it, we got a lot of updates on that. So all of it's there, including some cool videos or interesting videos that show about that. We do have some of the T-Man stuff specific to the charges and things that are going on with him. They're actually talking about 45 more. That's kind of crazy. And get this, Macron dancing at an Elton John concert while the city is being torched, basically. So not, you can see why people are just upset with him over there. Another gaffe from our current president, and some other stuff going on, of course. Remember, what was that movie? Top Gun, the new one that had come out with Tom Cruise. And he had the badge and or the patch on his jacket, and the Chinese investors were trying to make him remove that. You can't have that Taiwan patch on your jacket and be in our movie. And they said, no, take your money and run. We don't need it. Like, leave. Well, the Pentagon has come out and said, hey, we're not going to help any more of you filmmakers if you kowtow to China. So very interesting perspective that they're picking up. It also came from one of our senators. I want to say it was the loudmouth from Texas. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. You know who I'm talking about. That he put some stuff in a bill that sort of required them to not do this kind of stuff. So anyway, they're saying, hey, we're not going to help you. And by the way, think about it. Like Top Gun, if you ever watched that new movie, the military was extremely involved. They had a lot of people in that, all the planes, even the actors were flying in real planes, all of that stuff provided by the military. So obviously they're not going to want to, do anything that is allowing Chinese censors, as they called it, to affect anything that's related to the military and the U.S. military in a movie from Hollywood. So interesting. I know I went on a little longer on that one, but all of that and so much more, it's right there on our website. It's the rest of the story, marfooglenews.com. Click on the thumbnail for the show or open up that show notes link right down below in the description. It'll take you right here.
And that was the the eye of questioning, by the way, if you were wondering. Danish girls, what are you doing? That was, Pence visiting UKR. If I had a sound effect that would go, dun, dun, dun. Wait, that was more of like a Jurassic Park intro, like, dun, 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 dun. Yeah. I'm going to get that sound effect. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Make sure to share our show out with somebody who hasn't seen it. If you are in some sort of Facebook group with friends or you're in a club, make sure to bring some of your buddies in. Heck, if you're in a collector's group, doesn't matter what it is, get your friends and family in here. Again, thank you. It's the only way we grow is through you guys. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much and much love. Dexu, thank you for your service.
Marfoogle, thank you very much.
Whoa, dude.
Oh, great job. Great job. Much love, brother.
It is now time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. Thank you, Peggy D. Thank you, Peggy D, for your support. And Mystery School. Thank you so much. Loves all. Nana of Montana is the top supporter tonight. Thank you so much.
I said it, yeah. I said it, yeah. I said a nana, my tenna. 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 I said, well, I said, flow. Everybody really on Joe. I'm with the Bright Hills Media. And a Baron on Saturday. It's Stephen McMahon, a Peggy on the D. Everybody go, and then now we see Brandon on the Scott and a mystery. I said Robert Santo and his friends are Jay and back, and now we make amends. Eric Ibu, Elliot, Jay on the Survivor Living, me Baba 007, Barbie Burn Fast, and William Booth. I say, oh, fire on the deep life, I thank you for being live. We are just a one on B, Larry K, and the native one me. I see a Scooby-Doo, I do right. I know what you did last summer, beer. Beer juice, I know, don't tell anyone. Pinky swear, what did I do, what did I done? I won on B and a Mrs. Hun. Everybody go and grab a pod. No, don't do that now. I say bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum